This is a fuzz, sorry. Welcome back to A Pinch of Pepe. This is episode 2. Thank you to everybody for watching the other video of my tortillas. Today, we are making salsas. So 3 different kinds of salsas, 5 ingredients or less, not including salt and pepper. So first, we're making a Pico de Gallo. Simple, just tomatoes, onions, lime, jalapenos, and cilantro. Super easy. Then we're making a Pepe sauce, which is avocado base with tomatillos, and I've been making the sauce for 7 years now, and it's one of my favorites, and I use it on almost everything. And then the Cabrón, which is a super spicy chile de árbol based salsa. A little twist that we're throwing in there is some green onions, and you'll see how it comes together at the end. So this is a Pico de Gallo. We're gonna start off. The easy thing about this sauce is that you're not cooking anything, so you're just chopping everything up and putting it into a bowl, mixing it together, and it's done. So it's super simple. Start off with the nice Roma tomatoes. When you're picking out Roma tomatoes, make sure that they're like firm. You need it to hold up against everything else. Fun fact or trick: we're not gonna use the inside of the tomatoes. We're just gonna use the outside. So let's chop up right here, the top of it. All right, we're still gonna use this. And let's cut it in half. All right, and we're pretty much gonna cut around inside, all right, and take the inside out. This we're actually gonna use for our salsa, Cabrón Salsa. Do the same thing with this one. Be very careful with this. You can slip and cut your finger off, and we don't want that. There we go. And then this is a super simple dice. You're gonna slide down. The smaller the better. I think it tastes better like that. Now that that's cut this way, we're going to dice. Boom. Done. So this is going into the bowl. Do the same thing for this one. Moving on to the jalapenos. So jalapenos are not too spicy. Some in a bunch, they are really spicy. If you don't like spice, if you don't like heat, take the seeds off. I'll show you how to do it. I'm gonna keep the seeds in because I like my stuff spicy. If you're touching the vein and stuff like that, you should probably wear gloves. Don't do what I'm doing right now. I am gonna be wearing gloves for another salsa. This is what's spicy. So same thing I did with the tomatoes. You can kind of like fish it out. Cut it, right? That comes out pretty cleanly. That's done. So let's do that. So like I said, if you don't like spicy, don't do spicy. Same thing we did with the tomatoes. These I actually like to dice a little bit smaller even than the tomatoes because you don't want a big mouthful of jalapenos in there as you're chewing. Or maybe you do. Dice on that. Look how pretty that is. So that's good. I was gonna use 2 jalapenos. I think I'm gonna just use 1, and to make it spicy, I'm gonna throw in 1/2 of the, look at that, it's jumping everywhere. Throw in a little bit of those veins and the seeds to make it spicy. Okay, so now we have to chop up our red onion. You can definitely use white onion as well, yellow onion, whatever you like. I think aesthetically, red onion looks better and it has a little bit of a sharper taste. I like it. The best way to cut an onion, I heard and I've read, is to have a sharp knife, first of all. And I'm gonna make these cuts here, here, here. So I'm cutting down here, but I'm not cutting all the way to the end of it. I'm leaving a little bit of room so I could hold everything together. Okay, and now we turn it. I'm gonna make cut like that, cut like that, and we start chopping. Look at that. Look how that comes out. Perfect. But that's a nice small piece right there. That's what we want. All right, I'm crying already. All right, so now we're moving on to the cilantro. I just cut onions, so that's why I'm crying. I don't know why people don't use the stems of the cilantro. I think they have a lot of flavor and add more crunch. So we're pretty much gonna use this whole thing. Nice rough chop of this. Should I look at you when I'm doing this? Does that make you nervous? Cut to a chopped finger. So literally, we're going down to the stems. We're using everything. There's so much flavor in the stems of the cilantro. That's it. I don't think we need a finer chop than that. We want nice big bright chunks of cilantro in there. Transfer that to the bowl. So now, lime. Good trick to get all the juice out of the limes. Flatten on a flat surface, push them down. And go for it. All right, so that's 2 limes, juice of 2 limes. Okay, so pico is done, and now we're gonna move on to the Pepe sauce. So we're gonna make my Pepe sauce. There's a little backstory to this. I started making this 7 years ago for a whole bunch of friends that I lived in Kentucky with for a while, and they tasted it. And one of my friends called it HOH sauce, and it kind of stuck. I was actually thinking of like bottling this and like selling it in mass, like mass producing it, because I think it's one of the best sauces. And it's a great substitute for mayo. It's a great substitute for, I don't know, if you don't want something too rich and heavy, this is it. Not a lot to do as far as chopping. All we're gonna do is take these tomatillos, take the skins off, right? Take the stem off as well. Done. That's it. I learned this recipe from, it's in my family. It's been in my family for a long time. Everybody has their own like tweaks and stuff like that. My mom taught me how to make this. I also ate it from, like a lot of my tias used to make this. This is a good sauce to put on some tacos al pastor. Man, perfect. So now that they're like this, they have no skin on them. We can roast them in the oven for about 40 minutes at like 300 degrees. But for purposes of this video, we're trying to make it as simple as possible. So it's gonna saute it. Turn the stove on. Just a little bit of oil, just to kind of get it going. I'm using olive oil for this video. So these tomatillos are not green tomatoes. they are its own thing. They're nice and acidic, so you get a nice little freshness out of them. But if you cook these for way too long, they're gonna start getting bitter and nasty. So you gotta be aware. So this is gonna start cooking. This is at medium high heat, so we're gonna get a nice amount of char. Then we're moving on. For purposes of this video, I'm gonna use serranos. I like the flavor of serranos. They are a bit spicier than jalapenos, so be careful. Again, same thing that we did for the Pico de Gallo. If you wanna cut out the seeds, go ahead and do it. All I'm gonna do for these, I'm using 3 of them. Chop off the top of it, discard that. Throw it in to the saute pan with the tomatillos. It's gonna start smelling like Mexico right now. It's really, really nice. We're also gonna throw in, let's do 3 cloves of garlic. And for this one, you can leave the skin on. 3. Throw it in there as well. So that is doing its own thing. It's gonna do its own thing for about 10 minutes. Keep turning the tomatillos to make sure they don't burn too much. Same thing with the serranos, and same thing with the garlic. All right, so we just sauteed all our jalapenos, serranos and tomatillos. The reason you do that is so we can get a nice char. So I'm gonna leave the skin on of these for all of them and throw them into the blender. Everything into the blender. All right. It's not blending, so we add a little bit of water in there. Good. Dope. So we're gonna strain this. I just prefer for this sauce for it to be a little bit smoother. So this we're actually gonna throw back into the blender, right? Throw a little bit more water in there. And going back onto the blender for another 30 seconds. So we did that because we want to make sure that we get every little bit of it without losing any flavor. Trick Mama always taught me. Throw in water, swirl it around so you get every little bit of it. Boom. Get all the nice little chunks. All that sauce needs to get out of there. Guess where we're going? Back into the blender. So this goes back in here. Right? This is a good sauce. This is actually, if you season it with some salt and pepper, you can make an enchilada sauce with this and it's good. But now, to take it to the next level, we're gonna throw in half of this bunch of cilantro, stems and all. Just give it a beautiful bright green color. All right. And to this, we're also going to add half of an avocado. You don't have to worry about chopping it or anything because it's all going to get blended together. So this is going to add, obviously, a bunch of flavor, but this is what makes your sauce Pepe sauce because it's nice and creamy and it takes over like the substitution if you want, if you don't want mayo, you use this. It's delicious. Now we season it. Some salt. Just a nice little pinch. And fresh ground pepper. Look at how creamy and delicious that looks. Oh, wow. Alright guys, guys, so here we are at the last sauce. This is the Cabrón sauce. Do you remember those tomatoes that we took out the inside from the Pico de Gallo? We're gonna grab that. All right, we're gonna throw that into a pot of boiling water. For this sauce, we are gonna want the tomatoes to not have the skin. So we're gonna put 2 Roma tomatoes in a pot of water, boiling. And we're gonna add, let's do 3 garlic cloves for this one too. If they're bigger, use 2, but I think 3 is good. So all that is going to boiling water. You're probably wondering why I have gloves on. This thing right here is so spicy. So I'm gonna try to take out as many of the seeds as possible because we do want the flavor, but it has a kick. So the story of this salsa, for the last video that I made, which was how to make homemade tortillas, I wanted to taste the tortillas with a sauce, and I had made this for another occasion. I hadn't tasted it yet. If you see the other video, you'll see my face. It's a genuine reaction of how spicy that sauce was, because it's damn spicy. But it's delicious. All right. So the best way to get rid of these seeds, because they're dry, you're gonna kind of cut them in half, or take the stem off, right? Break that off, and then lightly, kind of squish it, rattle it out. You see how the seeds are coming out? We're not using the stem, we're not using the seeds, just the actual dried chile. Honestly, if you really like spicy and you don't care about your stomach, just leave the seeds in. Who cares? The spicier the better sometimes, right? Whew. Yeah, that could kill somebody. I'm just kidding, I don't know. All right, so we have about a 1/4 cup of the de-seeded chile de árbol. This, we're gonna throw it into the boiling water. We're trying to rehydrate them and soften them up. And that water is gonna be our liquid that we're gonna use to actually blend the sauce as well. So the more flavor, the better. Take these off. After you're touching those chile de árbol, take them off. Don't touch your face. If you're a dude, don't go pee. It's bad. I've had it happen so many times, and it's the worst. All right, so we have 3 green onions, scallions, whatever you want to call them. We're just going to take the very, very, very end of it off. All right? And then we're going to cut them in half. But we're literally going to be using this entire thing. This sauce came from one of my old co-workers at a restaurant that I used to work at. He gave me the recipe. He said to use white onions. I like the green onions. It gives it a little bit more, I think it's a different flavor. It's more fragrant. But these, we're going to do the same thing we did with the Pepe sauce and saute them in olive oil along with the garlic. I know I said to put the garlic into the boiling water first. We're going to saute it instead. So turn that on. Throw in a little bit of olive oil. And now we just wait. All right, so a good sign to know that your tomatoes are almost done is when you pull them out and the skin is pretty much coming off by itself, like that. Obviously the whole thing is not ready yet because not all the skin is coming off by itself, so we're gonna leave it in the water for a little bit longer. But that's just a good sign. Look at that one. See that? That's a good sign. Not doing it. Yep. Yep.
Oh my god.
Remember I was talking about the Ay Cabrón moment?
Yeah.
This is why. Well, I was talking to the audience, not you, but. All right, so we've peeled our tomatoes safely, not the way I'm doing it, you know, with my fingers and stuff. This is a nice one. See how all the skin came off? Boom. If you can't get all the skin out, it's not the end of the world. And this is the inside of our tomatoes that we had from our Pico de Gallo. Throw that in there and scoop out, man, the chile de árbol. So at this point, the chiles are nice and soft and pliable. They're going to be able to blend easily. We're going to use a little bit of the cooking liquid, just a drop in there to help it blend. That's it. It's better to use water that the tomatoes and everything was soaking in there already, as opposed to just tap water with no flavor. And this is what happens to our onions and garlic. You hear that? That's a good sign. That's a good sound. It's crunchy. It's gonna have a lot of body. It's gonna add body to the sauce and a ton of flavor. Same thing we did for the garlic for the other sauce. Look at that. Right off. It's perfect. Salt. Just a pinch. Fresh ground black pepper. The equivalent of a heavy pinch. And here's one ingredient that I didn't include into the description because I suck. Just a little pinch of cumin. A little goes a long way for this. It's just gonna kind of like round up the salsa. Salsa. That is gorgeous. Oh, come on. Look at that. All right, y'all, here we are at the end with 3 salsas. Pico de Gallo, Pepe Sauce, and Cabrón Sauce. Super different, super good. Individually, they taste great. Together on like these 2 sauces on a taco, dope. Pico de Gallo with some, on top of some nachos, on top of a fish taco or something like that. Delicious. I'm gonna taste it. Let's start off with the pico. Look at that. It's nice. That's perfect. It brings me back. I feel like I'm in like I don't know, like in Mexico, like Tulum. There's so much brightness and freshness and cilantro. Now we're gonna taste the Pepe sauce. This is just takes me back. Look at that. Flavor. It's packed. It's packed with flavor. It's so good. Tacos, sandwiches. If you're still eating bread and stuff like that, not like me. You spread it on your sandwich instead of mayo. Literally, I mean, whatever you want. It goes perfect with everything. You ready? All right. Let's mix this one. The color on this one is beautiful. Okay. Whew. That's good. It's spicy. Obviously, that's gonna be really spicy. It's gonna really like linger for a long time. You know what? This would be dope on some wings instead of buffalo sauce. Also dope on some tacos. You really get the flavor of the charred scallions in there, which I think takes it to the next level. A cumin is there too. Overall, I mean, it's amazing. Like I mean, yeah, it's gonna burn. What are you gonna do? I mean, if you don't like it, don't make it. But if you want something spicy, that's where it's at. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video of the 3 salsas, the Pico de Gallo, the Pepe sauce, and the Cabrón sauce. It was a lot of fun making this. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. Remember to subscribe, like the videos, comment. I said that already. Let me know what you think. Let me know how good it is or how bad it is. Thank you. Do another one. That was weird. Okay, so we just sauteed. Oh wow, that was real New York. Jesus.